An interesting question is being debated as to whether or not Sean Hannity was Michael Cohen's client. There's an interesting debate happening right now as to whether or not Sean Hannity was in fact a client of Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. As you know, the Cohen's lawyers were forced to disclose by Judge Kimba Wood. We discussed problems with the judge in federal court in Manhattan that Sean Hannity was the third client. Well, Sean Hannity is saying he was never actually a client, that Sean Hannity was merely one guy speaking to a friend, someone whom he respected as a good lawyer, about a real estate deal and some other minor matters. Hannity said on Fox News that he had never paid Michael Cohen, that there was no retainer letter between he and Michael Cohen, and therefore he wasn't a client. He's also saying he has an expectation of privacy. However, Alan Dershowitz, who has been a staunch defender of the president and people around him, told Sean Hannity on Hannity's program, that Hannity should have disclosed that he had consulted Cohen for legal work. Well, what should we think about this? Was Sean Hannity a client? Should he have disclosed it? Well, the first question is a little more complex, so let's go to the second one, as to whether or not he should have disclosed it. Now, I don't know what the standards and policies are at Fox News for their hosts. Would I have disclosed it regardless of the standards and policies? And the answer is yes, because I think it's the ethical thing to do. I don't think it plays into the narrative of the left. Many times you've seen Scott Ulinger on my show. Scott, former CIA station chief, I bring him on for that expertise. Scott is also a candidate for Congress in Pennsylvania, and I advise him on his race. I advise him on how to handle the media, on how to better promote himself, on how to more effectively get himself on television, on radio for his race. Basically, what I do here, but advising a good friend and somebody I think would be a great congressman for the United States of America. But I want you to know that. I want to be ethical. So before I bring Scott on the show, if you notice, and if you go back to episodes of Off the Cuff Declassified, where I've interviewed Scott on the Rebel.media, you'll notice that at the beginning of every segment, and oftentimes even at the end of that segment, I say, I'm bringing Scott in. He's a former CIA station chief. He's one of the most experienced guys I know on this issue. But full disclosure, Scott is a candidate for Congress, and I'm helping him with his race, or I'm a supporter advising him on his race. It doesn't change why I have him on air. It doesn't change his expertise, which is extensive. I'm having him on for his expertise. But if we get into a controversial topic where many people are disagreeing with Scott's position and I'm agreeing with him, I'm never going to simply agree with someone because I work with them in another capacity. But I want you to know that relationship exists. And that's what I feel Sean Hannity should have done with regards to Michael Cohen. He could have very simply said, right before he was defending Michael Cohen, well, full disclosure, Michael Cohen's an old friend. I think he's a great lawyer. And we have discussed minor real estate legal matters. I never retained him. I was never formally a client. However, just want you to know that we have discussed legal issues. That would have been enough, and it would have killed the story that the left is now trying to create out of this. Now, as for the second question, was Sean Hannity, in fact, a client of Michael Cohen? Well, that's a much more complex issue, and I'm going to dig very deeply into that on my longer show, Off the Cuff Declassified, today, right here on The Rebel. This is a really interesting story, a very interesting element to the overall story of Michael Cohen. This element that the left is trying to push with Sean Hannity. I think it's much ado about nothing, but we're going to go very deep into this. And this is really important. I keep bringing you this. So help me do that by subscribing to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows.